Hello
Hi
guys.
guys.
Hi guys.
Hi, I'm Sean. I'm a BSSE 3 software engineering student.
Hi, I'm Nix. I'm technically a third year student, but it's more second year and a half.
Hi, I'm Em, and I'm a second year software engineering student.
Hello, I'm Jed. I'm a second year student of software engineering.
So, viewers, welcome back to our second episode of our Hello World series. We'll talk about all about software engineering.
Just like Sean said, this episode, SE through the lens of students, kind of gives all of you guys more perspective on what SE is actually like for all of us that are still enrolled. So let's get right to it.
Sure, let's go.
Hey.
So let's begin. So guys, since enrollment is still going on, let's try talking about how or why we enrolled in SE. So for me, I enrolled in SE because I want to fully utilize the power of modern technology.
I guess we can all agree that most of us enrolled in SE because it's one of the courses that will still be in demand even in the future, right? Like it has many job opportunities. We can work for hospital, banks, personal businesses.
Yes, it is. And
Yeah, that is true.
and regarding to those job
Oh no, you
opportunities,
can. You can.
regarding those job opportunities means money. So that's why I enrolled in
Yeah.
software engineering because of money. But you
Money.
next.
True. My story is a little bit different in terms of why I enrolled in SE. During my first year, I was in civil, and I don't know, it was really fun, and I met some amazing people there. But I think towards the end of like the second semester, I kind of realized it wasn't for me, and a lot of my friends were in SE, so I got to kind of get a glimpse into what they were doing, and like, oh, hala, this is so cool. This seems like something I would be interested in. And then I enrolled, and yeah, yes,
You switch from civil engineering to SE.
yeah, I did.
I think most cases in CPU is that SE students shift to other courses, right?
Very true, very
Your
true.
case, I think, is so unique.
What-
Not really.
What a very brave soul.
Yeah,
Only if you knew what is.
I mean, I'm still here, so
yeah.
fingers crossed.
So thinking back about the first time you entered the gates of SE, what were your first impression back then? How did you envision the life of an SE student?
Like I mentioned earlier, I had friends that were already enrolled in SE, and yeah, just looking at the stats and the numbers, I was honestly really terrified because I saw how many people were shifting out and how stressed my friends looked at the time. So, first impression was just overall fear of failing, especially
Yeah.
because it took me so long to convince my parents to let me shift. But yeah, but I think, yeah, you know what? All I'm going to say about SE is it's not for the weak-hearted. It's not for the faint-hearted.
Yeah.
That's all
Yes,
I'm going
coffee.
to say about it.
Coffee is a necessity in SE.
I actually agree
Coke,
with Nick.
energy drinks.
It's a very hard course, and there are prerequisites to this course. But my first impression was I think it was easy at first. But then all these engineering subjects and everything, the professors are very strict. Well, yeah, it's a hard
Yeah.
course. Very far from the reality I'd imagined.
It's difficult to manage your time.
Oh no, it's not. I feel like it's not even just time management. Because there are people like, let's say back in first sem of our first year at SE, I felt like I was managing my time, but like sometimes they're just lessons and concepts that take a really long
Yeah.
time to really sink in. Like with patterns, with like shapes and stuff back in
Yeah,
first sem.
yeah. The for you.
It took me like almost a month to understand that. Thank you, Shan, for the tutoring session. Yeah, but yeah, it took a really long time to get that, even though I was managing my time.
Well, it was a very hard topic at that time. During my first year, it was also the topic that I find the hardest. Also, that is my first failed exam, and so in the subject, the patterns thing.
Oh,
Yeah, it was really hard.
what about you, guys, what was the hardest topic for you guys back in first year, first sem?
Well,
For
I could
me,
agree with the patterns.
What about you, Jed? What was the hardest topic for you to grasp back in first year?
yeah, I would agree with all of you. I think the patterns was one of the most difficult. It was easy to grasp the concept of creating squares and triangles, but when it comes to complicated shapes such as hearts with words inside, that's when
Yeah.
it starts to become complicated.
Since we're talking about hardships and the hardest subjects, what are the hardships that you encountered during your stay in this program? For me, my hardships was
Oh.
calculus. I really hate that subject.
Yeah,
Physics.
being in software engineering does not only mean having
Yeah.
SE classes, right? We
I
still take up calculus, chemistry during our first year.
Oh,
yeah. Although the programming
duh,
aside,
I have more flashbacks from that. Don't even mention that. Oh,
really, programming aside
more
though,
flashbacks.
from the programming aspects, it was also very hard, especially once you
But
reach
it
second
was
year.
fun.
Yeah, it's fun. Although it's yeah, all
I
those draws are
think
hardships.
I think my
Especially
hardships are a
during
bit
the
different from
EDU.
you guys.
Why?
Like with calc, it was doable because I was STEM in high school, like in senior high school. It wasn't easy, but it was doable. I think the major hardship I encountered in my time, like in first year, was that I was a software engineering student without a laptop. I think that was it. That takes the cake.
Yeah.
That was so hard.
Yeah.
Like imagine having to pass assignments at 12 a.m. and not having a laptop or even a desktop. That was wow. That takes the cake.
Of
Thankfully,
course.
I
How
had
did
some
you manage
friends who
it,
were
Nick?
willing to help me borrow.
So
How did I manage it? I had some friends who let me borrow their laptops. Thank you.
Oh.
God bless their souls. They're amazing. And yeah, during the first couple of weeks, I think I spent a couple thousand on computer stores before I could borrow their laptops. So like, yeah, it's hard. So if I had to like give a tip, guys, if you're going to enroll in SE,
get a
please
laptop.
have a laptop. Don't do what I did.
Yeah.
Don't do what I did.
although
have a
it's
laptop.
although it's doable, it's very doable.
It's doable,
Yeah.
but it's so
Yeah,
hard.
actually,
It's actually
some of our
hard.
classmates coded using their cell phone during our first
Mm.
year.
See?
Yeah,
Oh, solo
I was
learn.
actually really amazed. They were doing complicated
Yeah,
coding stuff with their cell phone.
I think if I had to recommend like a mobile coding app, there's Trebit and there's Solo Learn. I prefer Solo Learn.
I prefer a laptop.
Yeah, laptop. Okay, so we just talked about our hardships, but now let's get more into depth about the course. As we all know, our units are no joke, and we have
Very.
scads from 5 to 9. So, what's your usual routine? I mentioned time management earlier. Let's delve more into that.
Usual routine. I guess you wake up, you eat, you code. Well,
Take a shower. Take a shower.
yeah, you,
You don't
sometimes
shower, you don't brush your teeth?
Sometimes you
Shut.
You even
Disgusting.
can even take a shower with your schedule.
if there are subjects that are very hard and
Honestly-
requirements,
honestly-
you don't have to take a shower. You don't have the time. No, I'm just
Honestly,
kidding.
But yeah, really, that is kind of what our life is like at SE, right? It's basically eat, shower, brush your teeth.
Yeah, the essentials.
Shower optional.
Legal is optional.
Oh, legal is optional. I agree with that. On
Especially
Saturdays,
during yeah.
RFPC, NSE.
EDP days.
You had an EVP project.
Oh, so what did you guys do for EDP? Like, what were your projects?
We made a game.
For my team, we made an app.
Oh, you guys want to give more
Yeah.
context about this? Like, what kind of app? What kind of game?
So our game, the
let
team
the
was
viewers know your story.
the team was about environment. I'm not sure, I forgot. So we made this Terraria type game where you can cut trees, build houses. But sadly, the judges did not like our
Wait, what?
concept. We made the
Cut
Terraria.
trees in an environmental game?
That's no, it's
Why?
a survival game. You have to cut trees and plant them. You have to cut
Wait,
the
so you
That's
cut the
not
trees
the
and then
game.
you cut them?
yeah.
Okay.
You still replace the
Oh wait,
cheese
I
you
think I
got,
played
right?
it, right?
Yeah, you played it.
I played it. Your graphics were really good. It was really nice, actually.
Yeah,
It
but
made more sense to me while I was playing the game.
so how about you, Jed?
What
did
about
do?
you, Jed?
Same as Shan, our video game was about the environment, but we made sure to focus more on the um, poverty aspect here in the Philippines. So the theme during that time was trying to solve the different problems in the World Health Organization. So we made a game that would put the player in the shoes of a abandoned child with trying to survive the sister. So yeah, it's a role-playing game. There are lots of mini games, and we tried to make it emotionally impactful.
Mm-mm.
So what about you, Em? What was the app that you created?
So our app was called Foodify, in which the food that are near expiry date, are near expiration, are given options in the app to be donated to those who need food.
Ooh,
That's a very useful app.
that actually sounds really nice. You guys
Yeah,
did so good
but,
during EDP.
But we need users from the organization and those people who go to the grocery stores to buy their food. And we integrated a barcode scanner in our app.
Well, that's very nice. If a freshman can do things
Oh,
like
and
that,
just to give some more context,
Yeah.
let's give more context because I don't think everyone watching this will know what EDP is.
Okay,
So
okay.
EDP is a subject that all engineering students take in their second sem of the first year, and it's basically turning all our ideas into reality with an actual concrete, touchable final product. So since we're in SE, obviously we're most likely going to do apps, games, things that involve SE. So anyway, we were talking about our routines earlier before eat, code, sleep, repeat.
yeah.
That was before quarantine. What about now that classes are about to start? What do you think your quarantine online class routine will be?
If regarding to online class, I guess it's just the same. Since if you're a software engineering student, all you do is just sit in your house and sleep and code. But I guess it would be it would lack those social interaction with your classmates. So none of that anymore. It's a very sad.
Yeah.
It's a very sad times.
I think the best
Oh,
way
yeah,
for
but
us to socially interact right now is usually by playing video games.
That too. You could add that to your routine.
Any recommendations?
Hmm.
Like
I'm
any
more
game
of a
recommendations?
I'm more of a single player video game myself, but if you want single player video games, I think The Witcher would be a good game to try.
Witcher.
Yes.
If you want
Yes.
really deep storylines.
Witcher 3
Uh,
for
Witcher
the
The
3
book
would be-
was good.
Yeah.
The book was really, really good. The series,
The
in fact.
Netflix series was good.
And just the other day, oof, I honestly haven't finished the series, like the Netflix series. Because I saw that the next season is next year. So I was like, oh no, it's so good. I just want to finish it now, but I don't want to have to wait a year. So I'll just rewatch it when season 2 is out.
Yeah.
What about you, Em? Do you play games? Or like, what do you like to do with your free time?
I don't really play games, and I don't even code during my free time. Yeah, I don't recommend that to the freshies,
Yeah, honestly.
for anyone who is in SE. I think you should code during your free time, so that you would not, forget.
Exactly. You just spend 2 hours a day practicing
Wait,
programming.
I think my internet connection is slow.
Wait, are you still with us?
Nudge laggy, guys, wait.
Oh no!
I can't even see Nix.
No!
But-
It's actually pretty smooth from here.
Yeah.
We can see you clearly.
On our side, we can see.
Like
you.
we can see you though.
But can you see me?
Yeah, we can
Can
see
you hear my
Yeah,
voice?
Yes, yes.
It
Yeah,
does
I
the
can
upload
hear
speed is
you.
pretty good, but the download speed is not.
Okay na?
Hey, no
I think this would
powers.
be one of the problems most students would encounter
Mm-mm.
during the online class, right?
Yeah.
Poor internet connection.
Honestly.
Honestly, yes.
Although I think they're planning on using like YouTube. So like I'm using like mobile data most of the time. Ugh, no Wi-Fi struggles. So thankfully I'm Globe. So what they do is like they have like freebies per day for things like Zoom, YouTube. So that's been really helpful and something I would recommend to people who have hashtag no Wi-Fi.
Smart actually has a similar promo. For 99 pesos, you get 2 gigabytes of usable data for any website and application. And they also give you a 1 gigabyte per day allowance for YouTube. And I've tried it out with Zoom. It also recognizes
Wait.
Zoom for that 1 gigabyte allowance per day.
And why does this feel like we're sponsoring them? Guys, disclaimer, this is not a sponsored
Not
video.
sponsored.
Baka naman,
No,
Globe.
baka naman. Star. Hashtag Globe. Okay, so we were talking back then about the accomplishments of SE students, that during our first year we were able to make apps for our EDP projects. So if you guys don't know yet, some SE students are already working. In fact, Sean here is also one of them. So for the next question, what can you guys say about the students who are already working?
So let's talk about that. During my second year, second semester, I was recruited by our professors to join their company, which is StackRec, as a part-timer.
Yeah.
As a part-timer. So,
I think
well,
you were with
yeah,
Rachel, right?
yes, I'm with
Yeah,
Mang Rachel. I'm
Yeah.
with Rachel, and and it was the two of us currently part-timers in this job. So being a student worker, a student worker, during my free time, I don't really have enough free time to play games anymore, since I study and I do my job. But since this job is related to the course, it also benefits me a lot, and the pay is good. I think that's it. So maybe you guys, you're
Wait,
planning to
so
go.
with regards to your job,
Yeah.
Imagine
how
what
do
can
you
we
balance
accomplish
time?
when we can graduate, right?
Yes, you
I
can.
think
Yeah, but wait, I feel like I wanna ask Sean something about this.
okay,
Because
okay.
earlier we were talking about like work-life balance.
Mm-hmm.
So Sean, you just mentioned that you don't really have time to like for play, basically for play. So how do you maintain like a decent work-life balance? Because we can't be all work, but at the same time we can't be all play. How do you strike a balance?
That's an easy
How do
question
you
for me,
strike a balance?
because
How?
work for me, I mean programming for me is fun. I like doing it.
Yeah.
So I treat it as not work but as a hobby, so it's not stressful. But in addition to that, I also play games on the weekend, but that's it. It's very balanced for me, since I also enjoy what I'm doing. It won't be balanced if
Hashtag
you
Warframe.
well, I do that on the weekends if I'm not doing anything, but not all the time. Time management.
Or when you're not on our Discord channel at like what 1 a.m. By the way, guys, plug. If you're an SE freshie, join our Discord channel.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. But for the rest of us, what can we say about all our manangs and manongs who are working while at the same time being students? Personally, I'm kind of in awe of them. Not only of their like skills, but also their ability to like manage their time. Especially Sean and Rachel. Like,
Yeah.
props to you guys, man.
You
We
could
all know SE students have hectic schedules, right?
very hectic. There are things that you could do and you could not do, and there are things that you have to sacrifice. But the rewards that you reap are also worth it. And you
Wise words from Sean, the worker.
Shanda worker.
So Sean.
Sean, the student worker.
Oh, exactly. That's the term he used earlier.
Yeah.
Bob the Builder vibes. Let's go, Sean.
I mean, it's work. And
Oh wait, what's your favorite thing you've done at work? If this isn't like confidential,
the favorite thing.
like what's something you enjoy
When
at
I,
work? Like
when
your
I-
favorite project or something.
well, it's not the project. What I do is very monotonous. What I enjoy is when I go to the office, are the food. We have free food there.
Mm.
Oh, pa-share naman!
When you work, you could also get that. That's why even if you haven't graduated, or if you can't graduate a software engineering degree, there are things that you could do to also have a decent job. Like imagine me, I haven't even graduated yet, and I already have a job, ish. Although it's part time, but it's a decent job, and I support my family with that. I pay the bills. I even paid our rent.
Wow. Wow.
Bought
Really?
furniture. Yeah, I paid my rent since I need to help out my mother since it's a pandemic right now and the clients are declining and I'm the only one in our family that has a stable salary, a decent salary, I guess. Yeah, it's a very helpful thing. It's a very helpful thing. Okay. So for our next segment, we will include our community, those who ask the questions. We posted a poster on our official Facebook page where we asked the viewers what they would like to ask in this episode. We also posted an Instagram story and yeah, there are questions. So guys, if you'd like to ask more questions for our episode number 3, just comment down below on our Facebook page or our story.
Or
So
on this YouTube
Yeah,
video.
or in this just on this YouTube video. So let's get right onto the questions.
All right.
Yes.
So one of the questions is, why is it that the number of ST students per year level is decreasing? What is the reason, and are there many female students left in your batch?
So let's let the females answer
Who wants
this.
to answer this? Who wants to answer this? M?
Okay, so I think the number of SE students per year level is decreasing because I think when we enter the first year of our college, some of us are not still quite sure if we want that course because it's like our first glimpse of what the course would be about, and yeah, others may have research about it, but it's very different when you are in that course.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you. It's kind of expectation versus
Yeah.
reality. Like earlier, we were talking about how I shifted from from civil to SE.
Yeah.
Most people do the opposite, but I think with them they kind of have the same reasoning or the same motivation. Like, oh, I don't really see myself doing this for the rest of
Yeah.
my life, or I realize that I want something more. So I think that could also be kind of part of it.
And I guess the
Oh, no, you-
lessons are quite hard, quite difficult, I guess.
It's not for a faint of heart.
Even during our first, even
really.
for the first SEM.
It is. So
Yeah, like earlier we were talking about how patterns were so, and there's another question, right, about how many female students we have.
yeah,
Yeah.
Honestly, not a lot.
But I think,
Not a lot.
your batch has many,
yeah,
has more female students.
on our batch, my third year batch, also next batch, there are females.
Yeah.
There are more female students than male students. So
Really?
yeah, to
I
answer
had
that
not
question,
noticed, honestly.
I mean maybe guys are more distracted. I guess I don't know. But yeah, then we hope
with
you answered the question.
my new batch with M and Jed and the rest, I'm trying to count how many girls we have. But there are definitely more guys than girls in our
Yes.
batch.
Less than half, 1/4, 1/3.
Yeah, around that number. Yeah. So yeah, more girls should get into the tech industry and into software or other technology related courses.
Yeah, it's not just for the guys.
I think part of it. Yeah, it's not just for the guys. Like I feel like with some tech courses or engineering, honestly, in general, for the past couple decades, there's been this stigma, this stereotype that this is for the men, this is for guys, women shouldn't be involved with this. But lately, in like the industry, we've been seeing a bit of a shift, which is a really good thing. Like women empowerment while also empowering men. Yes. And just encouraging more women to get into technology. So I feel like that's been a really good shift. And yeah, so far we're seeing more women in SE, and hopefully in the batches to come there'll be even more. the other questions that some people had about SE or about our life as students in SE is, what are the difficult subjects for you in engineering and software subjects? And can a student with average knowledge in math take up SE? Shan, I think you should answer this.
Sure. I mean, difficult subjects for you in engineering. For me, as calculus, I've said calculus, physics, maybe chemistry. I also feel discrete math. That's just because I was lazy. But on the software side, I struggled a lot with those patterns thingy that we talked about. And maybe I will struggle in this web development subject, but I hope I don't. Also, to the follow-up question, can an average student in math will survive in this course? Yes. A below average student in math can even survive this course. Personally, I'm not that very good in math, and I excel in programming. And yeah, so don't be scared if you're really not numbers inclined. You could practice that and succeed in this course. How about you guys? What are the subjects that you are find most hard?
I guess us is not always about math. It's more on logic and
Mhm.
thinking, reasoning like that, right?
True.
It's how we like how Sir Fu said on the first episode. It's more on about thinking.
Yeah, it's
It's
more.
not actually more about math.
Yes, I've also noticed that when we try to study math subjects like calculus or discrete math, we would have to follow a given equation or formula.
Mhm.
But when we do our coding subjects, we are expected to create our own formulas and equations.
Yeah.
And
Exactly.
the relationship between the two would make it easier to learn both. But then again, there are of course times when the lessons become hard to digest, and we need the help of our classmates, and we also need the help of our teachers in order to understand them.
Exactly.
But,
And I
if
feel
we
like
keep-
we're really, really lucky, honestly.
Yes.
Because our teachers are very, very approachable
Yeah.
here at SE. Like, if you really are struggling with something, then one message sa kanila and they're really, really willing to help.
Yeah,
If you're willing to reach out. If you're willing to reach out, they're willing to help.
not just the teachers, also your fellow students will help you out. Personally, I've helped out
Exactly.
many students in my time here.
Many.
Many students.
Myself included. Myself included, honestly.
So freshies, don't be scared to reach out to us. We will help you.
yeah, your manongs and manangs are here. Like, chat ka lang sa Discord server. Or channel, rather. Ayun lang kami.
So I have here another question. What are the things we would learn during the first year? Is there a topic about hacking? Discuss about the summer classes. I think this is a misconception about SE and hacking.
There is.
Disclaimer, you're not going to learn how to hack.
Hacking
Let's just put
is
that out there. You're not
illegal.
going to learn
Not
that.
really part of the curriculum.
Although there is this thing called cybersecurity as a technical elective, but it's not hacking. It's not
Yeah.
hacking. You can't hack Facebook if you learned it. And we don't
We are more on curing.
we don't support
the program.
hacking since it's illegal and don't do it.
We don't support black hat hacking.
Yeah.
And we don't support anything illegal.
yeah, legality for the win. I feel
Yes.
like even though we're like SE students, it's also really important to be aware of the law, especially like cyber laws.
It
Because
is,
like we could just be
There is
like playing around with bots or like just messing around with a bot or something, and then
Nothing.
oh no, what we did is actually illegal. Like web scraping in some countries that's illegal. It's not harmful per se, but in some countries that's illegal.
I think I read somewhere that most people confuse hacking with cracking, because I think the definition of cracking would be to try to enter a website by all means necessary. But I think the philosophy of hacking is to try to be creative in order to either create or destroy something. So hacking isn't just all about destroying, but it's also about creating.
yeah, it's
I think hackers all throughout our history has actually formed what we would call our modern computers today, because they try to use the creativity to build something good.
It also said here that about the things that they could learn during the first year.
How
So, like
about
we said earlier, we talk about patterns, right?
Patterns.
One of the
I
difficult
think overall, first
topics.
year is logic. I think that's really like the take home for first year. Logic.
Yeah, logic.
well for me the basics, the fundamentals is what you learn the first year. The fundamentals of programming. If statements, variable namings, etc., loops, that's what you will learn to prepare you.
Arrays.
Yeah. How about the
And
summer
then
class
second to
part of the
them is,
question?
oh, summer class.
I mean, I
I
can,
think most of us took up minors though. Did
but
you take up summer class, Sean?
the recent summer class I did not take it. But to answer this question, summer classes are a very flexible term since you can take those subjects that you failed in the previous semester, or you could retake them, and you could also take those minor subjects, general ed subjects.
But have you guys had SE related summer classes?
Not me
Not
personally,
yet.
not me personally, but yes, it is possible that you can take a special class, a software class in summer. But I think it's a
But I
very,
guess it's limited, right?
yes,
To
very
only
limited.
one lab.
Yes,
One lab, I think.
there's a maximum number of units, which is
Yeah.
9 units.
9 units. Yeah. Let's move on to the next question about. This is a very nice question since. What is the difference of software engineering to other computer courses? And after graduating software engineering, are there tests required to take the like board exams or in other courses? Well, first I would just like to say that if you haven't watched episode 1, it is very in-depthly explained about the difference between software engineering and the other computer courses, but I think Nix who can briefly explain it right now.
What? Oh wow.
Briefly.
The difference between SE and other computer courses.
Yeah.
Um, I think of it kind of like a Venn diagram. There's some intersection between these courses, but ultimately there are things that make it unique. So for software, you learn about programming. That's common with most computer-related courses. CS, IT, name it, they also have programming. But for the SE side, we tend to focus more not only on software and programming, but also on the actual design of our software. Because later on in our course, software design and how to really write clean, testable code and how to follow some sort of architecture behind it. So I think that's mainly the focus of software engineering. There's some hardware mixed in, but not as much as with CS or IT.
Well, for me, I think the name software engineering gives a hint on what it focuses on. So technically, it's engineering, but on the software side. So you can imagine yourself as a architect, but we were going to be designing software that people will use. So that could either be on the PC, mobile, or on the web. So yeah, I guess I agree with Nix that there are some overlaps, such as when it comes to coding, but I think it focuses more on building software. But then again,
Yeah.
I think it would be best to refer to the first episode for an in-depth explanation.
But unlike other engineering courses, SE doesn't have a board exam.
Yes.
What we do have are kind of licensure exams. So there's Proxer. I think there's also an exam by the DICT, like optional but not board exam level required. But things to help you get ahead, if that's what you think will help you get ahead.
Well, those.
Yeah.
Well, it's not required, but some jobs. Some jobs like look for those certifications on that regard. It's not
Yeah,
required.
especially
so
the
don't worry.
Proxer exam, right, Sean?
Yeah, Proxer exams
Like
would
the
really
Proxer
help.
is kind of a big deal with us, right?
It's kind of a ranking and how well you do.
Uh-huh.
So
Ooh, can you give more context for our viewers?
let's say I'm not really well versed in the Proctor exam, but I know that you take that exam to test the level of your skills in programming. So 1 is the highest level and 4 I guess is the lowest, but there's also this label that is unranked. So yeah, you could take that
Yeah, I
exam
think
just to
that's
test you.
fine.
But do we get like an engineer prefix to our name?
No, you don't.
No. You're technically a software engineer though. So
Yeah.
that's nice.
Well, it's not the name that matters, but the skill set.
Exactly. Very, very well said.
Yeah.
So thank you. If you
So-
really want to know more about this, you should check our first episode link on the description box, and also do not forget to like and comment. Thank you guys.
And subscribe. Yay,
Subscribe.
subscribe to our YouTube channel, everyone.
Road to
So
100.
guys, just as a quick recap, we talked about why we enrolled in SE,
Yeah, our first impressions and the reality we face.
The really hard subjects that we had to endure.
And also our routines.
our hashtag student workers. I'm looking at you, Sean.
Yeah. So we also answered questions from the page about why the number of SE students is decreasing per year.
And also about the difficult subjects in our course, and if a student with average knowledge in math can survive SE.
We also learned about the lessons that we would take in our first year and about hacking.
Ooh, hacking. We also talked about the difference between SE and other computer-related courses.
Yeah.
So we also learned about the difference between SE and other computer-related courses.
So if you like this video, don't forget to give us a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel to be notified whenever we upload our next video.
Also, watch out for announcements for the next episode so you could drop your questions there. Thank you for watching. See you on the next episode of Hello World. Bye.
Bye!